Right. So for today's sharing, we will focus primarily on preparing the the annual report and also the use of the latest Excel file that I shared. So I will only share this Excel file within the group. And for the public, I was thinking that maybe I'll prepare some kind of an assessment that only for those who pass the assessment, got exam, pass the exam, then only can have a copy of this Excel, because message is that nothing is completely free. So anyway, so here our main objective for today will be to be able to write an annual report, an annual forecast report for our family members, loved ones, our clients, and to whomever who wish to have this annual outlook according to budget. All right, so here, let us just go through. So when you use this Excel file, the one that's colored in purple will be choices that you can pick from. For example, here, this will be the budget annual review on the 10 gods. 10 gods here means that what? 10 gods here means that the the notation will be given where all the 10 gods are present. All the 10 gods are present. And so when all the 10 gods are present, then immediately it helps you to actually tell. So therefore you don't have to so-called mm, let your brain work overtime because of that. So in this case here, on the first part, as we look into the 10 gods perspective, we can see that we are referring to a Chi-Earth Day Master. So as we are referring to a Chi-Earth Day Master, then the arriving annual pillar for the wood snake. So the wood, you would then be the 7 killing. And then of course for the snake will represent these particular 3 hidden elements. And so one of the latest addition to this Excel will be the grading of the pillar. And so we have gone through our 10 gods. We have gone through our so-called pillars. And therefore here, this is a pillar of 7K, 7K sitting on direct resource. And so 7K sitting on direct resource is auspicious. So as it's auspicious, then this auspicious pillar will be an immediate reading to the day master. Now what is also new is no, this is not new. You can also change your time gods to the elements. So elements means completely blank. So maybe you prefer it to be blank. Maybe that's the choice. Maybe you want to like write something on it. Therefore, this is blank. This is your 10 gods. You can also change this to relationships. So when you change this to relationships, now you have a Chi-Earth. If it's a female, then this will be your boyfriend, BF for boyfriend. And then here you may have your grandfather, the son, and the brother. Therefore, when reading for relationships, so when you read for relationships, therefore, that can help. And so when we prepare for our annual reading for our clients, loved ones, or whatnot, the question, of course, is to whom are we preparing for? Now, naturally, when we deal with young people, the young people, what would be most of their interest? Of course, when you deal with younger, between preteen, then maybe it's academic. So therefore, they are here. So their questions are more towards uh, how do I pass exams? And of course, what are the subjects that I should take? What are my skill sets and so on. And of course, with the younger ones later in life will then focus on love when when they reach puberty and their hormones kick into high gear, then they will be very interested in their love relationships. Will I get married? Will I have a boyfriend? Is this person right for me or whatnot? Then, of course, when we come to the middle age, now what happens here is that for young people, we tend to read the year. The year tends to be, well, the first pillar, the fasa, Therefore, the year pillar takes greater weightage. Therefore, the influence here normally we will consider things like social. So therefore, the year pillar is read as social or read as so-called parents or grandparents. So this is your parents pillar, the year pillar. The main influence will be there. But of course, when the person enters society, so when you enter society, basically you become an adult. And of course, a young adult naturally will be career. So the focus will be on career. And of course, later the focus is on investment. So first they pursue active income. So it's naturally that they might look for active income, and later, of course, passive income. So that will be a part where I have worked very hard for my money, and now I want my money to work hard for me. And of course, naturally, adults may also move on into marriage. uh, And of course, when they enter into marriage, then they will activate the next pillar. So when they are young, year pillar will be dominant. When they enter into society, then the career pillar. So old, so there is a school of thought that reads this to be the spouse pillar. So they are. I believe that some in even in Ming's itself takes this to be the spouse pillar. But anyway, that's called the entering into society, whatever that means. And of course, when you're married, then therefore this is very deep into you. And of course, when you have children, then this is activated. And if for those who do not have children, then that is activated at a later stage. Therefore, we move from right to left as we consider the pillar that will be dominant. And of course, as you come into an old age, where we want to look into retirement, therefore the hour pillar will be of primary importance. Okay, so the pillar takes weightage from right to left. And of course, when writing an annual reading for the client, age does matter, whether we are advising an 18-year-old, 28, 38, or otherwise. Okay, so in a way, we can then of course, for retirement, the key focus is what? Health. The key focus turns to health. And so the young ones may look for love, the adults will look for money, and the older ones will primarily focus on. Therefore, in your chart, you can then move on to health. So as you move on to health, then all these will turn. You can see that all these will turn into health issues. And health matters here, I have that corner. You can look into the corner abbreviation for the health matters. And so for health matters, what will be the issue for the year of the wooden snake? What will be the issue for the wooden snake? So the wood snake will be where the symbolism for the wood would be the liver, the neck, and also the male organs. And likewise for the snake, which is south, and it's about the eyes and the heart. So these combined together will then be the things related. And so here there are three perspectives that you can refer to in this chart. You can refer to the health, you can switch on to relationships, you can switch on to the 10 gods. So the 10 gods is essentially the broader overarching reading that you have. Now, one of the things that I don't like about personal consultation or reading charts with people is that they have no questions. Because for those who can read this chart, there are so many things to talk about. There are so many issues to address. And when you do not know what, if somebody just say, please read my chart, without any focal point, without any reference, it looks like it's all over the place. So that is where most of the time, people who want to start learning to read charts and they want to be a reader, they get into a bit of a confidence issue because they can read so much and do not have. Imagine you spend so many hours learning this and then you get tongue tied. You don't even know how to start. For example, let's start with the basic stuff. But that's sometimes because the person has no questions at all, and the questions are not anything specific. So if lack of specific city, it's not going to be easy. Okay, so anyway, when you see this purple color part, it shows that when you move your cursor here, you can pull it down and pull it down to choose the one. But usually you stay on 10 chords as the default because those are the main reading that you can. Now, secondly, of course, will be the gender, whether it's male or female. Now, normally in this chart here, male or female primarily pertains to the relationship. Because for a female, seven killing is boyfriend. But then when you turn it to a male, that boyfriend turns into a son. Okay? So for a male, this represents a son. This represents the mother. Right? And so therefore, it has different. So the gender here will be important only for relationships. So if you're not reading for relationships, then uh, this gender doesn't really matter. Right? Doesn't. Okay, so anyway, this is a plot charter, so it's tremendously flexible. For you to change, you just come to each part, and then every time you land here, there's a pull down menu for you to pull down and then to select your stems and to select your branches. So it's not automatic. So this is not an automatic plotter, not one where you just type your date of birth and automatically a chart will be drawn for you. This requires manual entry. Requires manual entry. But for this latest edition, I have fixed the month. So when you change, let's say for example, next year, so next when you move to next year, it will be your ping. So when you move to next year, which is your ping, the months will all automatically change. So therefore, no more playing with the months because it has been automatically run for you. So this part is automatic now. Right, so anyway, you can then find that next year will also be equally hot, fire. So it's going to be a horse fire, the peak of fire. So we are, and we are going to be on the galactic year of the horse. Next year will be horse, and horse will be self-punishment. So if you think this year is going to be bad for you, don't worry. We have something worse lining up next year. But anyway, let's just focus on this year. This year will still be on the wood snake for you. Okay, so now how shall we uh, perform our how shall we perform our annual reading? Now, if it's an annual reading where you have started with the client, you have already ongoing. So therefore, this is annual review means retainer. You're retaining a client, and the client is just wanting to update you for what will be the year of the snake. Now, if this is a first-time client, then of course you would need to go back to the basic by focusing on the natal chart. Come, we have been doing this for many years. I believe the first Excel table that I've given you was even before COVID. So you should have this for 5 years by now. So immediately, what are the immediate steps to do when you're taking a natal chart reading? On natal chart only. That means the reading is only on a natal chart. So once again, where would you start? And since we're on high chipping, that means we start with the day master, isn't it? So you always start with the day master. Now the thing about sometimes annual writing, sometimes when you write, my when I first started out, my writing tends to be technical, to which of course the client wouldn't understand. Then we need to be able to put this into Google Translate, and then English will come out. Yeah. All right. So the day master will be GF. So the day master will be GF. Lots of things to talk about GF. Now, what is the key primary strength of the GF? GF people are usually talkative. They are very talkative. They are very caring and nurturing. They tend to be mothering. Therefore, they are caring, they're nurturing. They tend to be excellent in terms of managing upwards and downwards. Therefore, that would be some of the thing. So they are very, earth people are very resourceful, lazy but resourceful. Therefore, lazy because they tend to stay. They tend to stay where they are. They don't like to move around. Alright, so these are just little nuggets of little things to talk about the Chi Earth. Now, do you see Koi water anywhere or not? Do you see Koi water on this Chi Earth? No Koi water, luckily. If not, then the body odor will be smelly. Armpit, very bad. But anyway, therefore, when Koi water mixed with Chi Earth, just a little bit. So when we look at it, usually Earth people are squarish, of course, a little bit plumpish. That would be just looking at the physical part and a little bit more. But anyway, let's just go straight into the strength of the day master, isn't it? The strength of the day master. So when we look into the strength of the day master, what do we look at? What do we look at? We will look at particularly the season, of course. And what is the season? The season of this will be the tiger. Tiger will belong to the season of spring, naturally. And the season of spring is the season before Earth. Now, Earth shares the same season with summer. Therefore, this means that the Chi Earth is strong. Not, not in the correct season, but in the growth season. Therefore, strong as well. Then, of course, that means relatively strong. Why relatively strong? Because it's in the growth. In the growth of summer, or the growth of the season, the growth of the correct season. So it's not really born out of season like date. I mean, if it's born in autumn or if it's born in winter, then the season will be out of season, and this will be a very weak year. So Earth born in spring is nurturing, and of course, secondly, we look into rooting. Is there rooting? We can also look for partial rooting. So there's partial rooting in the earth, in the earth. Therefore, there's partial rooting in the earth. All right, therefore you can see as we move along. And the other part about it is your resource. Is there a resource element? What is the resource element for earth? The resource element would be fire. So is there fire? Is there fire in the chart? Can you see fire in the chart? Therefore, the question here is that to see fire in the chart, yep, you do find that there is fire. Where do you find fire? You find fire here, you find fire here, and of course, fire. All right, therefore, we have one pink fire, one pink fire, and fire will support. So there's a support to it. And but anyway, being born in the hour of the tiger is being born in the middle of the night, at 4:30 in the morning. Therefore, this sun is not very out of place. The pink fire is out of place. We want pink fire to be born at night, and we want pink fire to be born during the day. So anyway, this means that the resource would not be too strong, but that would be secondary to be done. Okay, so very quickly, because if this is a new client, then we have to go through the following. And by going through the following here, this part here is to then to see whether the day master is one that is strong. Day master that is strong. Okay, now other than that, we want to run through very quickly on the 10 elements. In running through the 10 elements here, up to you where you want to start. You can start with your self element. You can start with the self element. So by starting with the self element, of course, the self element is earth. So we want to consider in terms of earth, what would be your reading. And usually, of course, here you can straight away see that your self element, we already mentioned it was partial rooting, therefore no friend star, therefore there'll be no friend star. So that means there will be rock wealth. So there's rock wealth star. Okay, so now here we have 3 rock wealth star. Now generally, if you have forgotten about the 10 gods because there are so many things, normally keep it very simple. How many do we like to see? Of course, counting is not going to be critical, but counting is something so easy to do. So immediately we count and oh, sorry, you're oh yeah, oh yes, yes, I didn't see that part. You're right. Thank you very much. Therefore, we have one friend star. So we have one friend star rooted in the year, and we have three Rockwell. So if you can't remember too much, in all simplicity, we like to see one. Anything more than one is too many. And here we have rod wealth, and the rod wealth is in the year, in the month, and in the hour. So throughout her life. So throughout her life becomes an innate personality. So she has a fasa. Her fasa is rooted, and her fasa can be visible, rooted throughout, supported throughout her life, from the first to the last. Therefore, this would mean that she would have a rod wealth fasa. She has a very strong Rockwell Fasa. So Rockwell Fasa basically means what? She will be usually you will notice Rockwell are people that you notice because in any party they seek attention. They are the life of the party. They will talk loudly and they will want to make sure that their opinions are heard and so on. Yeah, something like that. All right. So therefore, but then of course the chart is yeah, actually this chart is a female. It's a female, Lily. Sorry, so it's good. I'm toggling between the Excel and the PDF. Yeah. Actually by right, this is a real person and it's actually a female. Yeah. For you to notice. And when I printed that out, it was male because I want to demonstrate the gender. Yeah. I want to actually demonstrate gender by changing. All right, so no problem. So this is a she. So we're looking into a Rockwell lady. So this is a Rockwell Fasa lady. But of course, when you go deep into the career field. But anyway, let's move along before we can just conclude. So therefore, the self side is a Fasa, self element. So in a way, like I said, we don't want to we just want, okay, at the moment we just count. We just count. But be careful of counting. Don't let counting dominate your opinion because 3 or 4 wealth is all of them are dead also, no point one. They are weak. But anyway, now after self, we then talk about output. So we talk about output. For the output for the earth output is of course metal. hmm, Metal. So earth produces metal. So when you look into earth produces metal, then what kind of metal are we looking at? Where can we find metal? Is there metal around anywhere? Metal anywhere? No metal? None? No, so absolutely no metal. So when we have an absent, when we have absent, then so when you have absent, then that is something to remind of because once it's completely absent, it shows that there's no affinity to the element. And when you meet this element, usually more often than not, it's not favorable. So forget about the strong and the weekday master and favorable because you don't have any. So for a lady, metal means no children. But to say no children may not be, in a way, no affinity. No affinity with children. No affinity with children. Rather than say no children, because in a way they can. Earth can also tend to have children, maybe, maybe not. But the thing is that even if she has children, she will not be so hands-on, will not be really involved. Therefore, can have children, but not really involved. So to say no affinity with children would be a safer bet. Because if you say no children, then suddenly, hey, excuse me, I got two. So sometimes, because you have to see luck pillar that comes in as well. But anyway, that would be just looking into it. So there's metal, not up to. But output also means creative. So therefore, not creative as well. So not really very creative. No, not a writer, not a performer, and something like that. Okay, now output produces wealth. And of course, what will be wealth for an earth person? That would be your water. So very quickly, we'll run through water and see whether are there any water. Is there a... Okay, so therefore here, yep, you do have water, sitting on water some more. Therefore, sitting on spouse. So for this lady, then if she's married, her husband will be a worker. Direct wealth is salary employee or at least a stable job. And of course, sitting on water, sitting on wealth, would also means that you can find uh, that it may be somewhat a positive consideration. And of course, sitting on direct officer. But officer later we will come to. So anyway, how many? So there's only direct wealth. Is there any indirect wealth? Don't have, huh? All right. Therefore, here we can see one direct wealth and no indirect wealth. So no investment luck. Don't waste time buying sports toto lottery. Yeah. Right. So therefore, direct wealth means more detail oriented and of course focus on proper way of making. Okay, so after wealth, we then have your officer star. So for officer star, that would be the wood element. So therefore, you have the wood element. Okay, so now we're having the wood element. Now for the wood element, is there wood element? Was there any wood element? Wood element, of course, will be quite. There's a wood element here. Wood element 3. Whereas the wood element, there's a DOs, DOs, and DOs. 3 direct office. Any 7 killing? Don't have. All right. 4. Where's your 4 on the step? It on the month side. All right. So therefore, there are 4 direct officers. Quite a lot, Too many. Now, when you have too many direct officers, it becomes 7 killing. Extreme right is actually left. Extreme left is actually right. Therefore, that will be the case of looking. But anyway, we will just right now here just record for the time being. There are 4 jias, which is direct officers. So the 4 direct officers in the form of not and no, and no and no, and no so-called 7 killing. So there's no 7 killing, there's no indirect wealth. So here we want to see that the chart, whether it's a complex chart or whether it is a so-called simple. So we do find completely no metal, completely no indirect wealth, completely no 7 killing. So a lot of direct stars here, pretty bad. So not bad. And so of course, last but not least is your resource. And so your resource will be in the form of your fire. And so now we'll look into the chart once again and see what fire do we have. What fire do we have? So the fire do we have is you have your indirect resource here. And of course, we have mentioned that we should have your 2. Right? So both, so both you have your 2 direct resource and 1 indirect resource. So therefore, I got 2 direct resource and 1 indirect resource. Now, usually, as we gone through the 10 gods as well, as we know, if we have direct officer, we do not like 7 killing because you then get confusion. If you have eating god, then you don't like hurting officer because of the confusion. And so likewise, resource, you don't want. So normally you like 1 rather than 2. But anyway, that would be just running through to the elements. So here, as we've gone through to the strengths and to the day master and to the elements, we can then, of course, come last to the structure. You can also just go straight to the structure itself. The structure is also more towards the defining part of it, and we're looking into direct officer. And so for the career pillar is direct officer sitting on direct officer. Therefore, that would be the structure. The structure is direct officer. And the direct officer is protruded through the stems, and the direct officer has no so-called your seven killing, so to speak. So it's a direct officer. All right, so this entails that the person has a Rockwell facade and a direct officer has your career pillar. So direct officer people tend to be diplomatic, and Earth, Earth tends to be quite diplomatic itself. And of course, that may then serve to be the person's so-called defining career or personality. Now, once again, as you try to read, these are the typical natal chart. So where do we start? We start with the natal chart. All right, and from the natal chart, we can of course look into primarily the personality, the diagnosis, the reading, and so. Okay, so now time is short, so there's a lot of things to cover, but these are things that we need to begin with. Now, second layer, we now explore the luck pillar. Now, the luck pillar should be 10-year luck pillar. The 10-year luck pillar normally entails a very significant moment in life. Not all the 10 years. Sometimes certain moment of the 10 years. Certain moment of the 10 years. That becomes the defining moment. The defining moment. Okay, but anyway, the 10 lakh will of course be very significant. Therefore, it carries itself an important, a significant reading that we need to cover. Because when it comes to annual reading, actually, annual reading, the impact is quite minimal, quite minimal. Maybe not, but it may be the trigger. It may be the trigger, meaning that the luck pillar sets the environment, and the current pillar becomes the trigger, the catalyst for it. Okay, so now as we go through the luck pillar, immediately the luck pillar will be the for this person will be that means the earth, the earth. It's not with this 10-year luck pillar being the earth horse. What can you write about the earth horse? What can you write about the earth horse? What can you observe? Quite direct, isn't it? So the thing about you can observe about the earth horse will be uh, that the first part will be rock wealth. It's a rock wealth and a horse, but I think one immediate observation you can do is that this will be exactly the it's exactly a Fu Yin luck pillar. It's exactly a Fu Yin luck pillar. And therefore, the luck pillar here denote a decade of sadness that it will also represent. So it will also represent some kind of moment during this person's pillar. And because it affects the year will be the parent pillar. So maybe it may go as worse as the death of a parent, the death of parents. Because Rockwell is also one that is pretty much itself grandparent to correct. Yeah. Therefore, Fu Yin to the pillar may denote that for this particular. Now, once again, as you write a report and explain to client, we have to be a bit sensitive to just talk about Salya. But then, of course, Fu Yin, Fu Yin is a sad moment. It's a sad moment. And those days they call it heaven cry. And we have fanciful words for it. So it's a sad moment in time. And because it hits the year pillar, then of course it may be grandparents, and of course now also we read them as parents as well. I know sometimes maybe some school says that the career pillar is the parent, but now that people marry a lot later and they enter into society a bit more later, things the reading may have to shift a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, that may be the Fu Yin. It may shift, because why? Because it is, and this pillar, of course, is Rockwell, sitting on. What is a pillar? The pillar will be your Rockwell pillar sitting on indirect resource, sitting on indirect resource. So it's a rock wealth sitting on indirect resource, it's a full yin. But now here on on this new part, we can see that the reading now is extended to the luck pillar. So the luck pillar reading now goes into it. Therefore, there's a lot more reading now. Now, it helps a bit. One part, how does it affect the year? Because this is horse and horse. Horse and horse is self-punishment. So horse and horse is self-punishment. Therefore, for the year pillar, besides being full yin, besides being the full yin, it's also a self-punishment, because it is your horse and horse. So horse and horse meeting towards it as well. Okay, now then, what is this? What is this reading? With this reading, therefore this will be your combination. Therefore this will be your combination. So there's a three combo. Therefore there's a three combos. Therefore for the month branch, so the month branch and the hour branch, there is a yin. There is a yin, wuxi, fire combination. So there's a yin, wuxi, fire combination. So they can be so therefore there's going to be a yin wuxi fire combination as this. Right. Therefore, because of that, then there will be another significant movement. The other significant movement will be number one, the arrival of the dog. The arrival of the dog. Therefore, you have your yin, wu, and qi. Now, if the year is not the dog, if not the dog year, then of course it may then be the dog month. Then we may be looking into the dog month. And so when it comes in the dog month, then there will be fire. Then there will be fire. Therefore, that's where the three combination will begin to the yin, shi, dog, fire combination. So fire represents resource. Represents resource. So for this relatively strong day master, not very strong, not exactly the same season, we'll find that this fire would be somewhat welcome. And fire can be permitted because she being born in spring, where wood produces fire, therefore the three combinations will or can take place. And therefore that represents that in her life during this luck pillar, they might encounter a fire combination. So fire combination may be to her a resource, someone that is noble, and so this may give her a positive reading because of that. So you can look into the we can look into that as well. And now here for your day, for the day, what do we have? Now here this would be under the glossary portion, and dollar sign would be what that? Funny, I don't have it. So money, and what is H1? H1 would be the galloping. Therefore, travel. So therefore, she may find that during this period, there will be, but travel and money and career combined together. Therefore, we can then see that for the day branch, for the day pillar, we can then have money and H1. H1 is the so therefore the horse is, it's not really a galloping horse to the one. Okay, so by this 10-year luck pillar, we can then come up with that reading where good for career, and also good for having a resource to support. So therefore, this means that she will have a noble person because there will be noble persons. Noble persons is because of the resource. Her resource will be fire, and there will be lots of fire for her. So therefore, there will be noble person's resource. Then, of course, there may be, in a way, career. career advancement. Career advancement. Why? Because of the dollar and the H1. Therefore, this luck pillar of these 10 years, there will be certain moment, certain moment. Yes. So therefore, there will be also correct. We also find that you can also find that there is a pig and tiger combo. Yep, that's right. There is also a pig and tiger combination. You can also let it that. So and snake and no snake and pig clash that one. Yes. Later. We're still on we're still on the 10-year luck pillar. Okay, we're still on the 10-year luck pillar. Correct. All right. So once we are on the 10-year luck pillar, then like I said, there's a lot of things to talk about. We can spend 3 hours with this person and still no end. It's like, what questions do you want? What do you want to know? So if you okay, so now of course for particularly the year 2025, as we go into the wood snake, and now the reading for this particular year. So anyway, for the luck pillar, this one is for 10 years. For 10 years. And during the 10 years, there must be also certain specific moment within the 10 years to look at. Okay, so now as we come into the year of the wood snake, yep, that's right. Let us come to your Excel chart. And so the Excel chart, what is new? What is new in this latest edition is I have added, thanks to the comments that you make in the WhatsApp group, the current year. So now the current year will be the current year affecting the current. So Jenny, that you're right. So therefore, yep, you have mentioned that there's a snake to the pig. So there's a clash. So immediate. We can move on for there are two rows here. The first row here, okay, nothing for the year. Year got no impact. But what do we have here for the tiger? And tiger, of course, creates a punishment and a harm. So the snake punishes the tiger. Snake punishes and harm. They therefore, that would be the case whereby. So let's start off from the top once again. That number one for the year pillar, no effect because there's no effect. Then of course for the month pillar, we have what do we have? The snake and your tiger, and that creates what? Harm and ungrateful punishment. So harm and ungrateful punishment. That goes the same with the that goes the same with the hour pillars. So when you have hour pillar and month pillar, this is quite impact. The impact is basically on both career and your investments. And some investment can also mean children, because it comes in a package. Yes, correct. People, I tend to agree. So the horse coming in and the snake coming in, a lot of fire and so on. So it's going to be very uncomfortable. And so the impact for both the career and investment basically also means lack of correlation. Sorry, correlated. That means there's a strong correlation between career and your investments. Career and investments. Career investments or children. So indicating that any impact may happen at both. So this means that when you are very correlated in the world of investment means not very well diversified. Not well diversified. Okay, so clash, that's right. Therefore, there's a clash to the spouse pillar. Right on. Therefore, for the day, for the day pillar, essentially then there will be a snake and the pig clash. So this clash will be a fire and water clash. A fire and water clash. And because fire is stronger for this year, then fire winds, fire winds. And so since fire is external, therefore this is where it's clashing in. Therefore this is a clashing in, clashing in. So clashing in means external clashing into internal. Now, if let's say this is a reading for accident, the clashing in means somebody hit you. Clashing out means you hit somebody. Therefore, clashing in means facing external forces pushing in, and that will be the fire. And fire is resource, resource. Start. Okay, so therefore that would be for your day pillar, and of course, what we can then look is so we have covered so we have covered into it. Okay, so now as you come into the second row, what do we have? We have a particular H1 here, and again the same H1 is the galloping horse, therefore also indicating that this may be double, so there's a double impact that one may also consider itself. Right, so we have an impact, so we will write all that we can write into our reading. Therefore, there's also a H1. So there's also a H1 in the day pillar. Okay, so after we get the year of the wood snake, this alone, there might be looking to the interactions. The interactions we can consider can be from career, from making money, relationships, health, and whatnot. So when we say clash, so once again, now right now the challenge here is that right now all the challenge here is that you're using Chinese metaphysic jargon. Hmm? You're using jargons that are in metaphysics. And if it is not translated into ordinary language, it can be deceiving because the word combination sounds positive, the word clash sounds negative. But if we take a look into the perspective of chemistry, for example, in chemistry, people may talk about bonding, they talk about uh, 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 so, chemical jargons. So the word in chemical jargon, the word bonding doesn't mean it's immediately positive. It just means two chemicals bonding together. So is that good or bad? Then we need to know how to interpret. So at the moment, all these are jargons in terms of metaphysics jargons. So the ability to bring it into English will or to the language of the client must be important because if not, then all these words may carry a wrong understanding of what it truly is. So anyway, at the moment, this will be just the jargons that we have. And now, of course, we can then go into the 12 months. As we go into the 12 months, then we will now move on into the following. So for the following 12 months, we will then see how the impact comes in. And so with the impact, we can then run through to the following, and also, of course, to all the natal charts. And then, of course, we can then pick out some of the things that can be very useful. A1 for authority, we can find that. Then, of course, DP2 for depletion of money. Then we can link into it. Then, of course, for certain hurdles, H4, that can be found here, and so on. Yeah? Or basically something like T1 for your garden injury. Right. Then we can map out, then we can find the so-called effects on the monthly basis. But the month luck, of course, will be minimal. Minimal. So minimal, sometimes we may find that there might not be any great weightage to actually worry about. So therefore, one should, because it may be quite exhausting to map out your life and constantly strive for absolute perfection. It'll be very, very tiring. for date selection and plot the charts all the time. Therefore, it may be better for us to look into the main one, the bigger picture. Okay, so at the end of the day, then we can surmise into the 12 months one by one, and from there, in the final conclusion, we may want to find area or issue conclusions. What are the issues that we can find conclusion? And normally at the end of the day, the three major or primary conclusions definitely will be depending on the priority, relationships, money, and health. I'm not gonna put a moral judgment to find that which is important, but the young ones tends to focus on relationship. The adults tend to focus on the money. That takes a lot of weightage, and of course, last but not least, the health will come into the later part. So sometimes looking into the client's age and to know where they are might be useful to indicate what manifestation. Therefore, there's many ways. So many manifestation that we can consider. So let's say, for example, here, this person. Do you think this person likes to sleep early in the morning or not? But do you think this person sleeps early or sleeps very late at night? What do you think? Take a guess. Do you think this is like is it a morning person or a night owl person? This person tends to be a night owl. Tiger sleep late. Not bad, huh? But yeah, tiger sleep late. Not only that, the pink fire, the sun is 3, 4 o'clock at night. Therefore, this one sleep late. Sleep late. Now, when you sleep late, past 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, normally liver will be a problem. So when we have a snake and tiger clash, what reading can you have for a snake and tiger clash? What reading can you have for a snake and tiger clash? So lungs to heart. This sorry, why do I say tiger? I beg your pardon. I mean pig. Sorry, I mean the pig bladder. Okay, so the heart, the eyes, and the bladder. So therefore, those sleep at night may begin to develop. So because the bladder is nasal, so therefore the bladder will mean constant urination. So the question we ask is that uh, at night, if how many times do you wake up for to urinate at night? And of course, if it's once or actually, definitely it comes with age, inevitable. But if it is 2 or 3, it can be a serious health issue. Therefore, it has to be a concern, as it is. All right, and therefore that will be just where we may want to map out. And what is visible, of course, will then be also the horse, the horse that comes in. And for this year, which is wood year, the liver and the neck may come in. Therefore, neck pain, liver may be an issue that might surface as well. Right, so therefore, we can consider that there will be a manifestation of snake and pig. Snake and pig may means explosion, chemical explosion, fire and so-called water, north and south. So technically, there is some kind of manifestation, and so sometimes some believe that you can only change fate by fulfilling it. So therefore, that's where sometimes people talk about donating blood and so on. But this part will be some of the remedies that we can offer in terms of health. And furthermore, the article which I have shared with you, the article that I have also shared with you here, for all the 10 gods will also cover some of the clashes, some of the so-called TCM in terms of the orders that we have. All right. So therefore, that will be looking into how. So you have the Excel, you have the Woodsnake reading for you. So that's where hopefully let me know if you have started using it, and if there's any questions, any problems along the line, let me know. I'll be more than happy to remedy or to correct this Excel. So with that, that will be the conclusion that we have for today, looking into how you can set up or prepare your annual reading for yourself, for your loved ones, for your clients, and all right. So with this, we will close up. This will be my last sharing for the Dragon Year. Next week, definitely there will be no sharing because of New Year. So I'll just update it into the post when we will meet again. So very soon after this. So anyway, wish you all a very happy Chinese New Year and good rest for all. So thank you very much. We'll just update each other over the WhatsApp group. All right. Thank you.